Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Alex. I'm a real estate investor, and I want to make these videos to share with you guys the things I'm learning, the challenges I'm having, and the struggles I'm overcoming. My goal here is to hopefully let you guys use this information to basically accelerate your own journey, take my mistakes, and accelerate yourself down the path a little bit faster than I was able to. So today I have a seller call where essentially the setup is I had a conversation with this woman and her price is too high for a cash number. But she said she was open to terms. That she wanted some time to basically think about what terms would be acceptable for her. So gave her homework to get her terms together, and then this is the follow-up call.
Remember me, we were talking about buying this thing on terms, and you wanted me to give you a call now, and just kind of wanted some time to get like a term length and stuff like that.
No, I really want a full cash sale.
Okay. I mean, we do that as well.
Yeah.
The thing about the cash sale though, for us or literally any other investor, we all run our numbers the same way. That price has to be significantly less than like a terms offer or anything like that. I mean, does that even really work for you?
Well, I want 55,000 for the lot.
Okay. Was there a street address on this one?
No, it's just lot 86 at the 1300 subdivision. It's a gated community.
So at this point, I already basically know that cash does not work at 55,000. That's pretty much like market value, somewhere in that ballpark there. So at this point, my goal is to burn cash. So normally I like to separate myself from every other investor. In this situation, like I'm trying to just group every investor into one category and say, hey, the cash offers you guys are going to be getting from investors are going to be here. Does that work for you? And I know in the back of my mind it doesn't work for them. So right now, trying to take all this thought in their head that I can get a cash offer above market value, like trying to just destroy that. So my goal is, hey, here's what a cash offer from an investor looks like. Does that work for you? My intention is to get her to realize like that doesn't work, and then now we can pivot and do something that might actually work for them.
How did you come up with the 55,000?
Because I paid over 40 for it. And I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. That's how I came up with it. But see, I don't have to sell it, sir. I paid that off a long time ago. And I'm a working woman. I have a Medicare business in 5 states.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to sell it. If somebody wants it, they can have it for that.
Gotcha. And if no one comes up to that 55,000, what happens then?
If they come up with it,
If
they
no
can
one
have
comes
it.
up with it,
I don't need to sell it, sir.
right?
I could build a house on it myself and sell it.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that. It's got a beautiful view of the mountains.
Right.
So
I mean, that's likely what we would do, right? Like, I guess, what is stopping you from just going that route?
So I've had multiple conversations with this woman, and I know she's pretty busy. I already know the answer to this question, but I'm just asking these disqualifying questions. One to gauge motivation to kind of see like, is this worth continuing on my end? Like she's asking above market value. At this point, she's saying no, I'm not interested in terms. So just asking a couple probing, disqualifying questions, like I said, to gauge motivation and also to like get her to start thinking, right? So she's like, I don't need you. I can just build on it. And my response is, yeah, building on is an awesome option, but you haven't done that yet. Why not? And then it gets her to realize like, well, I'm too busy, and then she starts to realize like she's never gonna build on this, right? So, but the key here is to basically you have to get her to realize that through asking questions. Like if I would have just said like, hey, we've been talking for a week, you're way too busy, you're never gonna build on this, and let's be real here. So if I were to just come out and say it like that, that would have totally backfired. So the goal is to get them to come to this realization that they're never going to actually build on this thing through asking questions.
because I'm a businesswoman and I'm working a lot. I don't just talk on the phone. I see a lot of people as well.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's
So,
what I'm just trying to decipher right now, because obviously my time is valuable. Your time is valuable as well. I don't want to waste
yeah.
each other's time. And we're only really interested in people who seriously want to sell, and it doesn't really sound like that you're trying to sell. It's just if somebody came along and paid your price, right?
Yeah, they come along and pay my price. I'll sell it. I don't have
Yeah.
a problem with that.
Yeah, I don't
But
think we're probably right fit.
no, probably not. But thank you
Yeah.
for calling anyway.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And if you ever want 55, we could do it on terms. But like I said, sounds like that's
What
not
are
really
terms? What do you talk about terms? I don't know what that means.
So here I was just, pulling away a little bit, and then maybe a lot of times when you pull away hard like that, be like, we're not a good fit. Sometimes they're like, yeah, we're not, and then you part ways, and that's okay. Like that happens a lot, and honestly, most of the people you talk to, you're not going to be a good fit, so that's totally okay. But the people who actually are interested and they're like trying to put on a poker face, they'll grab you and they'll reel you back in. So, two quick things I wanted to talk about there. One is the pull away. Sometimes you have to pull away really hard, and sometimes they let you go, and that's okay. Just then go on, call somebody else. But a lot of times they'll also pull you back in and say like, "Well, hold on here, like let's talk about this." So, and that's what happened here. The other thing is when you are talking to someone who you might consider a driver or a red personality, they value their time a lot, and they also want to feel like the conversation is progressing forward. So when you do things like say like your time is valuable, but so is my time. Like we're not here to waste time. Like that's going to be things that really click with them, and that's going to elevate you in their mind. It's going to build rapport. It's going to build credibility. So when you're talking to someone who's a driver, or like this woman, she's a successful businesswoman. She's strong, independent. You can say things like that. You can set expectations about here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Let's get into it. Or like I'm not here to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time either. Those are very effective things to do when talking to someone who's a driver like this woman.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
mean,
So like I just bought one probably a couple weeks ago from a guy named Robbie, where essentially I can come up significantly in purchase price. He got a much higher price by just basically becoming the bank. So seller finance is another word for it, where now he gets an equal monthly payment every single month. He got more money. He saved on taxes. He could just be done with the property at that point.
well, figure that out. I may be interested in that because I'm going to retire next year.
Gotcha. Okay. The only piece of information I'd really need is to figure out like how many years you'd be open to taking payments on it.
How many years?
Yeah. Yep. Like
And is it done every year, or is it done monthly, or how is it done?
typically it's monthly, but I mean it's kind of your preference honestly. But most of the time we do it monthly.
Okay. I'd have to see all the paperwork before
Of course.
That would be something I may be interested in.
Okay. Sounds good. I know like a lot of our sellers are kind of between 10 and 15 years. I mean, is that
That's a long time. I may not even be here.
okay? That's fair.
Yeah, I would think a 5 or 7 year.
Okay. Gotcha. I can ascend.
So a couple of things there. It's always good, obviously you want to get their terms first. Sometimes they're not going to give them to you. Most of the time they're not going to want to. So you're going to have to try to pry that out. In this situation, she won't really want to give them to him, and just in the interest of time, like I tried to anchor her longer. Most of the time with like houses or higher pieces, higher price pieces of land, like this one's only like 50 grand or so. But higher price points, you're gonna want to anchor longer, like 30 years. In this case, I said 10 to 15 because I know like we could make this work at something shorter. So the goal there is say something long to anchor them, and then they're gonna freak out and they're like, oh, no problem. Like we do shorter stuff too sometimes. What would work for you? And then she comes back and says 5 to 7. Okay, 5 to 7. That we can work with that.
Run some numbers there. See if I can get you 55,000. We break it up over what would that be, 60 or 84 months or something like that.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let me run those numbers, and I'll see if we can't make that happen. If so, I'll just give you a quick call back. It just hopefully just take just a minute, and obviously we'll be able to send you all the paperwork and everything at that point.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Bye.
So that is something I actually learned from Jeff Smith, who is the man in terms of sales and stuff. So especially with someone who is like this, who values their time highly, you want to set the expectations for the next call. Hey, this is what I'm going to accomplish on the next call. It's only going to take a couple of minutes. So otherwise, you're going to run into a lot of people who are like, they don't want to risk answering the phone with you and it'd be another 20-minute conversation or whatever that might be, because people care about their time. So if you set the expectation, be like, hey, I've got the numbers now. Now I can basically have my underwriters do their thing. Tell me, give me the thumbs up, give me the thumbs down. I can give you a call back and we can say yes, no. And it should only take a couple minutes here. So setting that expectation for the next call is going to greatly increase the pickup rate for the next time you call this person. So that's a couple of stuff. A couple of things I want to share with you guys, the stuff that's going through my mind when I'm making these phone calls, a couple little pro tips that I'm using. So hopefully you guys took something away from that, and let me know what you guys want to see on the next one, and hope you enjoyed.